At Comic-Con in July, I was lucky enough to interview the cast of Riverdale. And for those of you who don't know, Riverdale is a film noir type TV show based off of the Archie comics airing on January 26th. It's a teen drama written by Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa, the Archie Comics CEO, and is responsible as the writer for Glee and Scream Queens, two of my favorite shows. And for those of you who don't know, Cole Sprouse is in it, and he is playing Jughead. For those of you who don't know, Cole Sprouse and his brother starred in the TV show The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on Disney Channel many years ago. So it's really cool getting to interview him. I also got to interview Luke Perry, who played Dylan on 90210, which was also equally amazing. So, here's the interview.
Jughead. Jughead is the narrator of this show. He is a strange outsider type character. Jughead's always been anti-authority. He's always been on the fringes of society. He's definitely a nonconformist type. He's also a budding writer and amateur sleuth. So he's trying to figure out what's going on in Riverdale, especially with the recent murder. And he's really kind of he's the boots on the ground, the one who's trying to figure out what's going on. I don't want to spoil it too much, but at the end of it, there is a gunshot wound, but there's a fog of exactly what went down and what happened, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. I took a break from acting, and I didn't actually really anticipate coming back at all, but I really liked the project. When I was given the sides to read, there was basically 3 pages of just solid monologue, and I thought this would be challenging. And I really like Jughead as a character. I think he's really cool, especially in this. This show is very film noir, which is something I'm not familiar with as an actor at all. I mean, at least acting in it, I haven't done professionally. And so I wanted to try that out. I think Jughead's a cool, weird, creepy character, and that's also fun. But I also come from a comic book background. You know, I used to get really angry and incendiary when people would mess with the properties I loved a lot. And one of the cool things about the Archie universe is there's so many universes. Like there's Afterlife with Archie. I mean, the Predator comes, the Punisher comes to Archie. There's so many universes that it removes a lot of that incendiary dialogue that takes place with most comic properties. And I think the fans are primed for a cool new take on a modern film noir, teen drama, brick like Archie. It's going to be solid. And that's really, I'm coming at it like a fan, to be quite honest. I'm excited to get to work. I think the love triangle is definitely one of the fundamental points. I think the Easter egg characters that are going to exist, I think we really do. I like to think of Archie as a cast of actors that through the comics and this show are just constantly being thrown in. They're like a theater troupe. They're just constantly being thrown into a bunch of different environments. You know, we have Moose, we have Midge, we have Dilton, we have all the characters, the side characters that you know and love. We have all the locations, but it's just, so that's fundamentally the same, but the tone is different and the gravity of the drama in the town is different. I also think this is an Archie property because one of the lead creative directors of the actual Archie comic books is our executive producer writing every episode. I mean, it's not like we got some schmo off the street who came in and were like, do you know about Archie? Can you write it? No, this is the biggest fan of the comics who's also responsible for Afterlife. I mean, he's the guy. To say this would not be an Archie property would be silly because he's the one in charge of all the Archie properties anyhow. So it can't be divorced.
We can kind of tell that you're a fan of the Archie comics.
Me, personally, I'm Team Betty. Cole is definitely Team Betty. Girl next door, kind of, she to me has always been the one that sort of redefines the classic trope of femininity within Western society. She's like the mechanic and the tomboy, and I think that, personally I really like that side. But Jughead, it's not, I don't think Jughead's, that's even a thought past cheeseburgers for him. Yeah, first off, I'm a huge proponent of that kind of representation. That's my bread and butter. I think that's really awesome. That was a comic universe of Archie, of Jughead, by Chip Zdarsky. And I know that this show is definitely pulling more off of the Mark Waid, Fiona Staples version of Archie, if we're to liken our universe to anything like that. So his sexuality is not well defined in the Mark Waid one, and in this it hasn't been defined yet either. Until otherwise noted by our creative director, our EP, that Jughead is taking a stance on any form of sexuality, I wouldn't say that he would be asexual, no. But I'm stoked that I can bring to life that dialogue in any way, shape, or even if in a brief interview. I think that's so awesome. And I think it'll definitely be mentioned. I would be surprised.
I think one of the main things is, and this goes for Archie and everyone else, is that we're getting deeper into the lives of each of these characters. I mean, in the comics, you're just seeing the kind of, it's not as, it's just the happy kind of, the classic happy Archie characters. But I think we really go deeper into the lives of these characters, which makes it more, I think, appealing to people and more relatable. It was tricky for me at the beginning because coming from New Zealand and playing such an iconic American character, I was nervous because, I don't know, I didn't want to, the fans are so aggressive, and I was thinking, man, I hope I don't get too much stick from these guys, but the feedback has been really really good, so I'm really pleased with that. I wasn't familiar with the comics before I had actually started working on the project, but my dad was really familiar with it, so I gave him a call from LA. He filled me in. He read them when he was a kid, so yeah, it was good. It was good. I don't know. I just kind of can do it, I guess. I used to talk to myself as a kid. I was one of those weird little kids, but it was always in an American accent. So I guess maybe that's why. Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm Archie Andrews, and this is Riverdale. That was really, honestly, I was scared because for a start, I thought my hair, because they have to dye it once a week, and I'm shooting for 6 months. They have to bleach it. I'm probably going to be bald by the end of the series. Actually in the middle of shooting at the moment, so they had to dye it black, but it's usually like dark brown. It's awesome. We're getting so much great feedback and stuff. It's good to, I think our show is so much different to all the other CW shows. I think it's different to everything on TV at the moment. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, everyone's comparing it to Gossip Girls and Twin Peaks and stuff, but to be honest, I think we stand on our own, which is exciting. Because it was a big risk for us, I think, as well, to create this Archie. I mean, when I first heard about it, I was like, I'm not too sure, like, if we're going to do it, it's going to have to be really, really good. But I think we managed to kill it. After the summer, Archie discovers his passion for music, and which kind of collides with his dad's vision for him to play football. So that creates a bit of tension between me and Fred, who was played by Luke Perry, who is the man. Yeah, so music, Archie creates his own band, and Josie and the Pussycats, him and them, kind of, there's a bit of conflict between those two. It's going to be like kind of singer-songwriter, kind of John Mayer-ish kind of stuff. Yeah. We actually recorded a song as well for the pilot. I actually didn't. I'm actually not a confident singer at all, I'm going to be completely honest. But I just had to do it. And we went into the studio, smashed it out. Probably a bit of voice tweaking, but that's all right. The song it's inspired by his romance with, I can't say, the inappropriate romance that he has in the first episode.
Will.
Yeah.
I play Fred Andrews. He's Archie's dad. Blue-collar guy, owns his own construction company, loves Riverdale, has no ambitions in leaving Riverdale, wants to stay there. It's always been his home. And I think that's neat for me. I've always played characters who kind of wanted to do something or were trying, aspiring. This is a guy who's absolutely happy where he's at, living his blue-collar life, having his thing, and he wants to share it with his son, and he runs right into the naked ambition of a kid who wants to do other stuff, you know? And that's just, you can't quite figure out why that is. So he's that guy. He's an average, regular guy. Well, it's not that I wanted to be a football player. I think him playing football is his best shot at getting in college. And with a college education, I think he'd have more opportunities. He's got stars in his eyes and Jimi Hendrix in his hand. So the kid's going to do something. But when, it's funny, I don't exactly remember how it went down, because I always told my parents I wanted to be an actor, or I'm going to Hollywood. I don't think they believed it. But one day I just picked up and left, and and then you realize your kid's not playing. This is what they want to do. So as Archie and his dad wade through this, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. Murder mystery, you say? I never liked the Blossom kid. I'll just go on record with that. That's all I'm going to go on record with. Yeah. I read the Archie comics. Was I like, can't wait to get my next Archie kind of a thing? It wasn't quite that. But, you know, when I was a kid buying comic books, you buy 3 of them in a package, and it would be a Green Lantern or something on the front, Superman in the back, and they slip an Archie in the middle. It always slip an Archie in there. Or sometimes even inside the book, there would be a pull-out 3-page Archie. You cannot escape Archie. Don't try. The ubiquitous Archie. Resistance is futile. Just give over to Archie. And so, yeah, I had always read this. And,
Camila Mendez as Veronica Lange.
Lily Reinhart as Betty Cooper. I guess we'll start off by saying that our Archie is a lot more, it's a lot less misogynistic than the comics. You know, there isn't a constant rivalry between the two girls, especially over a guy, you know?
Yeah.
They have more to their lives than Archie.
Yeah, that's
Archie's
the thing. There's more going on in their individual lives than just like the obsessions of Archie and who he's interested in that week.
Yeah.
So their friendship in the 40s is obviously going to be different than their friendship now.
Right, it's been 75 years and things have changed. The world has evolved, and so we're putting the more modern version of Archie and Betty and Veronica into this world.
Yeah. There's more kindness between them, but that's not to say that there isn't going to be rivalry as well. Not fans, no. I mean, I was familiar with it. I have Brazilian parents. I don't think it's like not a big thing there.
I don't know, this might be, well, I didn't grow up with comic books. Like, I grew up with all 3 girls. None of them, you know, were into comic books, so I wasn't really exposed to that world. But I was Skyping with my friend when I got my audition, and I was like, oh, Archie comics. And my friend was like, oh my God, Archie, I love Archie. They're making a TV show? I was like, yeah.
My agent at the time was like, oh my God, I want you to go play Veronica so bad. And I was like, oh my God. She like looked up all these pictures and sent them. I mean, there's so many people around us that do follow the comics that they were able to like,
it's not hard
prep us for everything. My friend cried when I got the role. She was so obsessed. She's like, my haircut is because of Veronica. Obsessed.
Oh, obsessed.
Yeah.
I was like, why is she obsessed?
She had like the bangs and the dark hair. No, I'm more like gonna look like the reboot Archie comics, like the Mark Waid, Fiona Staples. So I have like, I'm gonna have like blue black hair with like a side swang going on.
Yeah.
Swang, you know, that's a word.
She's the girl next door.
Like Keds and like
like
jeans.
Keds, like she's wearing
These designer 40 silhouettes, like
like Louis Vuittons, and I'm wearing just jeans from Goodwill.
shirt.
You know, but she's modest. She's feminine. Like even just in the clothes, the characters are represented in the clothes. Betty wears very light fabrics, light colors, and Veronica's more dark jewel tones and more slimming and sexy and
mysterious.
Sure. Yeah.
The cape.
Right, yeah, she wears a cape.
I wear a cape.
Right.
You answered it.
I don't have bangs, unfortunately. My hair's naturally like super wavy, so my people would be upset with my bangs. They would not be good. Like terrible bangs.
Right now in Veronica's life, you know, she's the new girl coming to Riverdale, and her dad just got arrested for fraud and embezzlement, isn't involved in this huge scandal. He's kind of like a Bernie Madoff. So she's dealing with the shame that has brought to her family and all the publicity because of it. So she moves to Riverdale with her mother to start a new life, and she's really interested in trying to be a better person, taking it as an opportunity and running with it, being positive about it. But then she starts to see that all of that shady stuff that was going on is still kind of going on. And so I think with her, there's going to be a lot of family problems.
Well, same with Betty.
As
so you're coming into the show, Betty and Archie are lifelong best friends. Betty, you know, they both come back from the summer, and Betty realizes, okay, I'm finally ready to tell Archie that I love him, and I've always loved him. And, you know, Archie doesn't look at Betty that way. He doesn't look at her as a woman yet. And so Betty is dealing with a lot of pressure from her mom, Alice. Betty has a sister, Polly, whom is the troublemaker, the bad kid.
seed.
So You know, Betty's mom is really trying to make Betty perfect, the perfect kid, everything that Polly wasn't. And so Betty has a lot of pressure on her shoulder. Her mom hands her a bottle of Adderall and says, like,
Stay focused.
yeah, stay focused, girl. Forgot to refill your prescription. So, you know, Betty is starting to crack, which is a good thing because she needs to break down in order to
That's part of their friendship
be
too.
confident.
It's like I'm trying to get her out of her shell and trying to keep it all together. And seeing that, you know, Betty's this talented, smart, beautiful woman, and I'm like, why aren't you like running shit right now? I don't know if I can say that. You know, like, I'm like, why aren't you in charge? Like, you should be strong. Like, you should.
It's just shining
own
a
up
light
to-
on how much pressure women are under and how we don't have to conform to these things, you know?
to be all things at once.
Yeah, we can be anything, we can be wherever the hell we want to be.
That's good, fast.
Well, I play Cheryl Blossom, who is the head cheerleader, vixen, and lead villain on the show, which is very juicy and fun. And in the beginning of the show, my brother passes away in a mysterious way, and we're not really quite sure what happens there. And so that kind of is the arc of season 1, and that allows Cheryl to evolve as the villain with the hurt of her brother's death, and then maybe the repercussions of him dying throughout the season. We're twins.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of twincest in there.
Oh, that word.
That's the word, isn't it?
I play Josie McCoy, and I am the front woman of Josie and Pussycats. And, you know, my take on Josie is, you know, she's kind of like a reincarnation of Josie and the Pussycats, but dealing with the same kind of things that we deal with now, you know, in 2016, and how far we've come as women, and that we don't have space and time to be ditzy. Everything that I do and want is very purposeful, and I'll do whatever I need to do to get there, and I'm not going to let anybody get in my way, especially boys. And that is not necessarily the same sentiment that my Pussycats share. And we'll kind of discover, you know, why Josie is so driven and why she feels like she needs to succeed and can't have a man specifically get in her way. So when Archie comes into play, we're gonna bump heads, you know, because I am Beyonce, and you know Archie is Justin Timberlake. So when he comes asking for my help, and I'm like, nah, dude, you know, he goes to create his own band. So we're going to have a battle of the bands, and I'm going to have some crumbling in the empire because Archie's really cute, whatever. And, you know, my girls are going to see that. So that's going to be kind of her strongest point in how she evolves as a character in season 1. For a hot second I did, for like 2 minutes right before the network test. And, you know, it's just kind of like, I understand that, you know, because I am a big nerd. Like, I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, so when they were trying to make a live action movie, I was like, no! So, you know, I understand that sentiment, but I think what's really important is that, you know, I'm not trying to erase the original Josie. I grew up loving her, and what's really great about the Archie comics as a whole is that everybody is relatable. You know, I didn't have to look like Jughead to have him be my favorite character. You know, I didn't have to look like Archie or Betty or Veronica to understand the situations that they were going through. So I feel like if people can go into it with an open mind of just, you know, being like, oh, this is like a girl that happened to be born with the name Josie and wanted to be, you know, a rock star and came up with this band, the Pussycats, and let's see what she's got. You know, it's not, I'm not trying to undo or erase anything that's already happened. It's my first time recording original music. I mean, we didn't write it, but it is, you know, original composed music. I did musicals, you know, and it's funny because it's easier for me to have, I can hide behind a character and a voice, but when I have to bring myself and my own voice to it, it's very nerve-wracking. But it's exciting because it's pushing me to really make Josie, you know, this new Josie, kind of stand out in a way, you know. She's going to be kind of rockish, you know, she likes to get the party going, and whenever everybody wants to leave, I'm like, psych, I got another song. Oh my God. Does she wear ears? Yes, she does. And you're not even ready for what the ears are. Like, it's going to be so specific and pointed. And it's great because Lee Tolan Krieger, the director, and I came up with, you know, the notion ourselves. He kind of asked me a question. I was like, give me 24 hours. I'll come back with something. And we did. And that's going to be the through line of Josie the Pussycat's trademark. So fly. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's so good.
That's all for now. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Periscope, and like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube and check back every Thursday on ComicMix.com for new videos. And make sure to check out Riverdale on the CW on January 26th. Bye!